Hey guys, it's Ayumi and welcome back. Thank you to those who have subscribed to my channel and left comments. It does mean a lot to me and I'm glad that even 20 of you are interested in the things that I have to say. So again, thank you so much to all the subscribers that I've had so far. 20 means a lot. So we're going to discuss my top picks for best dog food and worst dog food, what brands you should look into, and what brands you should avoid. Let's get started. All right, y'all, so this is a pretty important topic to talk about. I think many dog owners are misinformed or they simply just don't know which dog food they should buy for their dog. It makes sense. I mean, they're marketed fantastically. I mean, the bags are pretty good looking. They have your dog specific breed on there, so of course you want to buy it. And you have all these amazing commercials that tell you all the ingredients that are inside this dog food brand. It makes you want to get it. And I get it. But when searching for a dog food brand, there are a few things that we need to think about first. There is not a one-size-fits-all dog food for every single breed. Well, there is, but I'll tell you at the end of the video. There's so many different types, but it actually depends on a few things, such as, do you have a puppy? Do you have an adult dog? Do you have a small breed dog? Or do you have a large breed dog? That actually matters. This is important because one, if you have a large breed, you don't really want to buy them small pieces of kibble, and for small breeds, you don't want to buy them these giant pieces of kibble that could be a choking hazard or it's just really difficult for them to eat. Also, if you have decided to feed your dog grain-free, unfortunately, grain-free is kind of a hoax. It's not really beneficial for your dog, and owners actually tend to choose grain-free because they feel that that's the healthier route. But that's not true. And please, for the love of dog, do not feed your dog vegan food. They need meat, and please just don't do that. I'm gonna leave it there. So let's start off with puppy food. You need to look for brands that are specific for your dog's size. If you have a lab puppy, for example, then you're gonna purchase large breed puppy food. Now, if you have a Maltese, you're gonna buy small breed puppy food. You cannot feed them the same bag because it could actually have some serious damage. Choosing the wrong one can actually cause permanent bone damage, something such as hip dysplasia. And I know that's something that everybody wants to avoid. So what happens is you could potentially be feeding your dog too much calcium that's actually causing them to grow up just a little bit faster, which then leads to hip dysplasia or any other type of bone crippling disease. So here's a look at my top puppy foods as well as adult dog food. I have always been a fan of wellness dog foods, and I really like it because you can pretty much find it at your local pet stores, and I feel that's just super convenient for everyone. They've also been pretty A1 when it comes to feeding puppies. A lot of dog owners have mentioned that their puppies have thrived on wellness and they never seem to have soft stool or upset stomachs, so wellness has been pretty consistent. From 2M's, I've probably been my top choice. It has been one of the best dry dog foods, personally, for Boss. His poop was great, his coat was great, he never had any reactions to it. From has just been really consistent for him. Akana dog food is also great. So the texture of Akana is a little bit thick and on the oily side. And if I'm not mistaken, unless they've changed their kibble within the past 2 years or so, it seems like it's a one-size kibble for small breeds or large dogs. So what I had to do for smaller dogs, I actually had to break it up in little pieces so it's easier for them to eat. And especially puppies who don't have adult teeth yet, it's really hard for them to chew on. But besides that, Akana has been a great brand. So Signature with a Z has also been a really good brand. Awesome ingredients, customers seem to love it, and they have a pretty good balance of protein, carbs, and fat. So I know I don't have many dog food brands that I actually suggest, but I do have a lot of dog food brands that I would avoid at all costs. So let's get started on that one. So these ingredients that I'm about to name, you 100% want to avoid at all costs. The ingredients are corn, wheat, soy, and byproducts. So many dog food brands actually contain these exact ingredients because It's cheap. These dog foods are on the shelves and people buy them because they're just unaware. And that really sucks. So I hope this video is helping you so far. And if you happen to find any of these ingredients in your dog's food right now, don't worry about it, don't stress. You can go get yourself a brand new bag of something that's really good for your dog. Plus, at the end of the video, I'm going to teach you how to do a slow integration of switching your dog's food. So for those who aren't familiar with what byproduct means, it actually means it's the leftover parts of whatever meat they're talking about. So for chickens, it's all the leftover parts that, I hate to say this, the slaughterhouse didn't need. So that could be the beaks, the eyeballs, feathers can be included, feet. And they're all ground up and mixed together and they're put in your dog's food. Yummy! So let's get started on my worst dog food list. So this one's kind of based off of personal experience. So the brand is Blue Buffalo, aka Blue Diamond. I used to promote these guys up the ass because I actually believed that they were a really great brand. So when I first got Boss, he was on Blue Buffalo, but I noticed that his poop was always soft, he was constantly itchy, he was gassy, and it smelled really bad, like rotten eggs stinking up the whole house bad. And I wasn't really understanding why. Turns out it was the food. And turns out I wasn't the only one who experienced this. So of course, it's not really a good enough reason for me to claim that this is the worst dog food, but at the same time, it has gone through a few recalls, and it seems that they were also lying about a lot of their ingredients. Now that's a no-no for me. Next on this list is Eukanuba. Eukanuba has been a brand that I have never really been a fan of. So some of the ingredients contain chicken byproduct meal, ground cornmeal, and whole wheat grain. Meh. The next one is Pedigree dog food. Pedigree dog food is so old school, and I honestly don't know why anyone would be feeding their dogs this food at this day and age. It's seriously one of the worst. I mean, it has all the ingredients that you want to avoid. I'm gonna read you guys off this list because there's actually too much for me to remember to not look up and down. It contains ground whole grain corn, meat and bone meal, corn gluten meal, soybean meal, chicken byproduct meal, ground whole grain, wheat, and the list goes on and on. It's not healthy. Purina is also pretty terrible. Their ingredients contain whole grain corn, meat and bone meal, corn gluten meal, soybean meal, poultry byproduct meal, whole grain wheat, and Animal Digest. Animal Digest. Doesn't that sound delicious? Okay, so the next one might be a little controversial as this is sold in a lot of places, especially vet offices. They are almost consistently recommended when your dogs are going through something like upset stomach or they're not really eating their food. Vets will recommend this product. So this one is called Hill's Science Diet. Sometimes too, vets actually get commission out of it. Just note, I'm not hating on vets at all. It just sucks that they have to sell something that's not good for your dogs. So the ingredients include whole grain wheat, whole grain corn, corn gluten meal, and these are just some of the ingredients. Of course, my camera has to die right in the middle, but let's keep going. So we were talking about Hill's Science Diet. To kind of continue on, first of all, it smells really bad, and the kibble seems to be extremely drying for the dogs. So a lot of the dogs that I've worked on personally, after they've finished eating their food, they're dying of thirst. And I'm not being dramatic, like they seriously guzzle down so much water after eating Hill's Science Diet. Royal Canin, Canine, I don't know, but they're also on my top list of worst dog foods. Some of the ingredients include chicken byproduct meal, wheat gluten, corn gluten meal. The smell itself to me is really strong. It smells super salty. Not to mention the pieces tend to be really tiny. They're like little triangles. Just an FYI, all the ingredients that I'm reading throughout the worst dog food, they're at the very top of the list. So that means it contains it the most. Truly, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on about bad dog food. But what I would really recommend for you guys to do is check on dogfoodadvisor.com and type in your dog food brand that you have right now and see what the reviews are. But don't just leave it at that. Do some extensive research. Check other websites and see what the ratings are so you're making sure that you're providing your dog with the best meal. So before I end this, I know I mentioned that there might be a dog food that works best for all breeds, and the answer to that is feeding your dog raw food. If you guys are interested in knowing more about raw, I can definitely do another video on that. So let me know in the comments if you guys are interested to learn more about raw dog feeding. Now, here are some tips. 1, if you're gonna be switching your dog's food, please don't just switch right away. That can cause an upset stomach and especially create diarrhea for your dog, which I'm sure you don't wanna be cleaning up. So what you wanna do is you wanna do a slow integration. So for example, if you're gonna be feeding your dog the old food, you wanna incorporate 75% of the old food and 25% of the new food. Check their poop the next day, see how they're reacting to it. If you find that it's a little soft or they just have complete diarrhea, then lessen the new food just a little bit and do the integration slower. Basically, this is gonna be based on your dog. 2, feed approximate measurements of what your dog is supposed to eat. Many people are just filling up their dog's food bowl all the way to the top, and if their dog eats everything, fantastic. If their dog doesn't, they just keep it for the next day. Don't do that. On the bags, there are actually recommendations of the exact appropriate amount of what you're supposed to be feeding your dog. Go according to that. You don't want to be feeding your dog too much or too less, so definitely feed them the appropriate amounts. So those are my top tips on how to integrate the new food with your dog's old food now. And if you guys have any questions regarding dog food, feel free to comment below and I will try my best to answer all the questions. If you guys have found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!